Hi again, and welcome to another episode of Get Off My Lawn. I'm Tom Curley. Today, we're going to talk about the Earth. You know, that big ball that revolves around the sun that we all live on? Humanity's house. Now, we rarely talk about the Earth as a whole, but lately we've all begun to talk about one of Earth's biggest problems, climate change. And by lately, I mean for, well over 50 years or so. Now, a lot of us have become concerned that we are killing the planet. All the carbon dioxide we've been dumping into the atmosphere since, the beginning of the Industrial Revolution is causing our home to heat up. And this is causing climate change. Summers are getting hotter, sea levels are rising, hurricanes and tornadoes and floods are getting more powerful. Elon Musk was allowed to buy Twitter. You've heard it all. Now, we could fix all this, but sadly, a lot of people, usually the politicians who could actually help fix these things, either refuse to believe in climate change or they refuse to do anything to help fix it. Now, do I have a solution for these problems? No, not really. But I do have a letter I got recently from the planet Earth, and it's real. Now, how did I get this letter and how do I know it's real? Don't ask, I just know. By the premise, by the podcast. So here it is, an open letter to humanity from planet Earth. Hello, humanity. Earth here, the planet Earth. You've called me many different names over the years, names like Gaia, Mother Earth, Terra, etc. Anyway, I'm writing this open letter because I've noticed that a lot of you have been concerned with what you call climate change. You seem to be concerned about saving the planet. Now, I'm flattered that so many of you are concerned about me. I mean, the dinosaurs were living on me for over 1 billion years, and never once did any of them even notice I existed. Now that I think about it, the fact that they had brains the size of a walnut might have had something to do with that. But I digress. I'm sorry, I do that a lot. I've been around for over 4.5 billion years. Cut me some slack. Be that as it may. The reason that I'm writing this letter to all of you is that even though I appreciate your concern about my welfare, you all need to know that you don't need to save me. I'm doing fine. And I'll continue to do just fine. Like I said, I've been around for over 4.5 billion years, and my surface is constantly changing. Like when I started out, I was basically just a really hot rock. The only thing I had to do was make volcanoes. Now granted, at first, it was interesting. But I gotta tell you, after the first billion years or so, it got a little old. Next, it started to rain. A lot. It rained for a long time, even by my standards. And all of a sudden, almost 3/4 of my surface was covered in water. That was cool. I had clouds and snow and much, much better sunrises and sunsets. But then the oddest thing happened. I'm not really sure how, but life formed. At first, it was pretty boring. Single-celled organisms that, pretty much ate stuff and reproduced. But then they got bigger and more complex. First, there were small fish, and then bigger fish. That was neat. And then a few of them actually left the water and started walking around on land. That was weird. Now, the next time I took a look, now you gotta understand that your perception of time is different from mine. I've been around for 4.5 billion years. I was covered in plants and trees, and there were insects and dinosaurs everywhere. They were interesting, but all they ever really did was wander around and eat each other. Again, cool at first, but trust me, like I said, anything gets boring after the first billion years or so. So things were going fine until one day this big asteroid crashed into me. I gotta tell you, that one hurt. I remember thinking, ow, that's gonna leave a mark. And it did. After that, the climate on my surface changed, and all the dinosaurs disappeared. But then you guys came along. Now realize that by my standards, you've only been around for about a year or so. Even so, I have been fascinated by watching you guys. You guys figured out how to use fire. You invented the wheel. You created civilization. You created beer. Not one dinosaur in over 500 million years came close to doing anything like that. And you guys did it after being around for only a few 100,000 years. I was impressed. And lately, and by lately I mean the last 40,000 years or so, you've been inventing all sorts of really interesting things. Now I have to confess, I've really gotten into Netflix. However, I have noticed that you've been changing my surface environment a lot lately. And it's definitely you folks doing it. Think about it. It took me hundreds of millions of years to transform hundreds of millions of dead dinosaurs and plant life into coal and oil. And you've managed to burn most of it and dump trillions of tons of CO2 into my atmosphere in just a few minutes by my time frame. Impressive. But here's the thing. You might want to stop doing that. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to have a harder and harder time living on me. Trust me, you're not the first living things that have come and gone, and you're not going to be the last. Although I have to admit it, I will miss you guys. I like you. And like I said, I'm really into Netflix. And you invented beer. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that even if you keep doing what you're doing, I'm going to be just fine. You don't have to worry about me. You have to worry about you. Well, that's all for this episode. Be sure to click, subscribe, comment, follow, tag, poke, prod, punch, tickle, or whatever the hell you're supposed to do on these sites. And be sure to check out my favorite sites, Serendipity, Seeking Intelligent Life on Earth, Voicescapes Audio Theater for the best in audio comedy and drama, and a half-hour radio show, the show that's hysterically funny for about a half hour. Well, that's all for this episode. See you next time. Now get off my lawn.